you missed day 10, be sure to check that out, but for now, get ready to flex those tactical muscles. Time again to spot sneaky tactics and convert that advantage like a beast. You got 10 seconds. Let's go. That's it. 10 seconds up. How'd you do? Welcome back to day 11 of elevating your game with 303 tactical chess puzzles. I'm vryBot, a US certified coach and international expert, and today we're diving again into another 10 wild puzzles that will sharpen your killer instinct. Today's goal isn't just to solve, today's goal is also to learn. So watch how the tactic unfolds and pay attention to the key elements that made it possible: weak squares, piece coordination, and timing. Make sure you stick around for the bonus puzzle answer from yesterday too, which is coming up right after this. So this is your last chance to pause the video and drop down in the comments what your answer was to this position. We're about to solve it. So what did you play here? What would you play here? Again, really, don't be shy. Put it down in the comments. Let me know. This one was not easy. There are some themes here that include several tactics all blended together really nicely. In fact, the very first thing that caught my eye was actually queen to g4, and I thought I was going to get this. Even if the knight gets in the way, I was going to push this. To my utter misfortune, d4 is possible, and I was pulling my hair out. All right, so at this point, I'm mad. I had to go back and find another solution. The most brilliant move here, queen to e1, hitting the knight, giving him a chance to save the knight, jump to f5, jump to g6, either one. And then all of a sudden, bishop to a5 is possible. So what was this? Well, this was a double attack where we attacked the knight and threatened to do bishop to a5, which is a battery. We created the bishop and queen battery where they're working together so that we can shove that bishop out there, and then the bishop hits the queen, and we know the queen's likely to move. If she takes, we take back. So she gets out of the way, and then we're hitting a piece of higher value behind her. That's a skewer. That's tons of words. I hope that you remembered all those tactical names. Okay, write them down or drop them in the comments so that you can remember it. Did you remember to check the material at the beginning? Let's take a look. We've got 2-4-5 versus 2-4-5. We've got the minor pieces, queen and rook, queen and rook. So the position looks pretty balanced. Even white looks a little funky because this pawn is way out there, overextended. This pawn is out there. He can't come back to be helped. His best protection is going to be pawn to g3. So you might even think that black has something here. Unfortunately, he doesn't. The very best move is knight takes after queen to e1, and he has to give up the knight. Bum, 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 bum. What you've been waiting for? Yes, the bonus puzzle. Sorry to make you wait so long, but here we are, and I'm just going to jump into the answer here. You should have already given me the answers from day 10 in the comments if you found it. Drop that knight to c3. Oh, this is crazy. It's a nice fork. If pawn takes, we're going to just liquidate everything, winning with a rook versus a bishop. So let's go back. If the rook moves, we're simply going to take the bishop. That's why it's a fork. So let's try to find the very best line. I don't know what it is. He's losing. This is terrible. Is this any good? It's all bad. So let's go back and find out how to find moves like this. We've got 2-4-5 versus 2-4-5. Again, the material is looking very equal. We've got knight versus bishop. Bishops are even better usually in the endgame with pawns on both sides of the board. But somehow this tactical explosion happens with knight to c3 and black's busted. We should be looking for checks and captures as well. Here, you might even get lured into thinking there's a check here or a check here. They just don't work. We might be looking at captures. White doesn't really have any. It's black who has all the captures. He's got bishop. He's got rooks attacking stuff. He's got stuff everywhere. And if you've been following along, I would really like to see in the comments if you solved this puzzle. So let me know for day 11 that you solved this bonus puzzle. Okay, time again for a flashy tactical melee. Let's go. This one, rook A to D1. And I'll let that soak in for a second. But first, let's count all the material. We've got 2, 4, 6 versus 2, 4, 6, 7 pawns. Black actually up a pawn, but we have the exchange. We've got 2 rooks. They've got a knight and a bishop. We've got 2 rooks and a bishop. So the bishops are the same, light squares, but we have what's called the exchange. So we can give this one away, and we need to, because on first try, rook to F to D1 will actually allow black to escape by hitting this rook with time. And then when we move, we won't have time to grab the bishop. But if you carefully count the material and that we're up the exchange, we'll be able to use this rook to attack it. So there is no knight to B3 that's going to be good for black. Instead, he's likely going to take the most material he can possibly get. We're going to get the bishop in return, and we're even trapped the knight with no escape squares. And they might try to bother our rook. We just got to make sure that we stay on this line guarding the D2 square. Even if they try to get time to wiggle out, we take with a check and we still snap off this knight. There's no escape. Now we're cruising along. I hope that you have positions like this in your games. I've had them in my games. Blitz, bullet, speed chess, rapid chess. I've had positions like this. I haven't really seen this so much in a classical game, but check this out. Queen takes h6, and this is completely unstoppable, undeniable, unstoppable, hard to deal with this threat. Even giving up an entire rook, the king just runs to safety. You know what? We have the f4 square covered. If we didn't, this might be a little bit different. There could be queen to f4, queen would have to come back, and so on and so forth. But in this case, he doesn't even have queen to f4. So you could do just about anything you want. Go ahead and play queen g1, give a check, we'll just come back. Hey, give this check. Okay, fine. All right, give this check, we'll come back. Anyways, we're mating you on the next turn. Like I said, undeniable, unstoppable. Make sure you are pausing throughout these puzzles and drop your comment responses down below. Okay, this time we're going to take a minute just to explain the puzzle a little more in depth and give some names to the tactics. Here, let's first start with the material count. We've got 2, 4, 5 versus 2, 4 pawns. We have the bishops. They are of opposite colors. And we also have the queens and kings. So, looks pretty balanced, but it's not. Bishop to b7, check. Why? Well, we're actually luring the king to a square. We want him to go to b7. He has no other choice. Here, 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 and here is all captured up by the queen. So, this is the only move. Pawn to c6 with a check. And then we have discovered the queen against the queen. So again, how can we find stuff like this? Well, we look to the next 3 tools for checks and captures and threats. So we're going to be looking for checks. We notice a check here. We notice a ton of checks with our queen here, 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 here. All right. Then we move on to captures likely. We see that we have a capture and a check. That one can be confusing for us. We do have to calculate it. We could see that we have captures over here. Nice. Nabbing up a pawn. We could see that we have captures here. And then we might notice that we lose our queen. So that's no good. But if we put the checks together and then the captures, we actually solve this entire puzzle. It's a check. One of the first checks we spotted. One of them. It's not a capture, which is where we notice the queens eyeballing each other, but a pawn move forward. So this is the only tricky part of the position. King moves out of the way, and we nab the queen. Okay, we're diving right into it. So for the material, we've got 2, 4 pawns versus 2, 4, 5. Don't forget there's a pawn down there really close to us, ready to attack us, ready to bother us. We haven't even finished counting. So we've got 3 minor pieces. They have 1 minor piece and a rook. So roughly that's worth the rook 5 plus 3 is the knight, so that's 8. And we've got the 3 minor pieces, so that's 9. So it's roughly equal. It's relatively equal at the very moment. And we would actually gain some by capturing here. But this capture is not the move. We have only figured out the material. So we've got to do the other 3 things. We've got to look for checks, captures, and threats. And then you might start noticing, well, that king is pretty exposed. We have a lot of checks. We got to check back here, check right here, check right here, check right here. We've got bishop takes g7, which is a check. And then we're looking for captures as well. Other captures include taking here. That's no good because we'll drop our knight for sure. We have this capture that we've been talking about. Gotta look ahead to threats. The move that jumped out to me was queen to f5, and this is a lot of fun. There's just so much fun here. If the king comes to e7, we have mate on the board. This is an epaulette mate. We've got the king blocked by his 2 epaulettes on the shoulder. And the queen is slicing right through him. And the queen is defended. And the queen is taking all the other important squares. The king can't take the knight because it's defended. So, beautiful checkmate. But we don't expect black to just walk into what we want. So, he's going to fight to stay alive. We're going to go bishop to b3. He's going to run over there. And then we can continue just attacking everything. If he comes over, we take this and we get a discovery with check. It's just too much fun. So probably, likely the queen takes back and we continue playing the game. But this is not the quickest way to win. I found that bishop to b3 is even faster. It's the fastest way to win on the board. So, a lesson we can learn from this is that it's not always checks, captures. Sometimes threats are the most powerful thing on the board. This one's real easy for you. Hopefully, if you set aside 5 seconds, you should be able to solve it right away. A good short. Rook takes h7. There's no other move. There's nothing else to look at, nothing else to think about, except king takes. So all we have to do is calculate 2 moves further. How about knight to f6 with a double check? Double check. How often have we seen this? I think we've only seen it once in the whole series, and we're currently in the 100s. Leaves the king only one single place to go to. What's fun about a double check, you should know, is that a king can't attack a piece because there's 2 attackers, and he can't capture both pieces. So the king always has to run in the instance of a double check. In this case, the only safe square is not here, but here. And then we shove the queen in his face. Other in your face checkmate. That's the kiss of death. Mwah! We've seen it before. Check out my other videos and the shorts for the kiss of death. This is relatively easy because you might have seen a lot of stuff like this when you were first starting chess. This looks like sort of a beginner's game, but it's not. This is in our intermediate set of tactics. We're going to go queen to g7, hitting the rook. Rook goes over to the only square that defends everything. And before we go further, let's make sure we know what the material it is. We've got 2, 4, 5 versus 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 pawns. Black's winning on pawns. Let's see what else we got. We got the 2 rooks, so does black. Oh no. We've got 2 minor pieces. They've got 3. So what we have here is an attack. We have a mating attack. We got to get to it. But the mating attack didn't work. They brought the rook over when we were threatening checks and captures and checkmates. So now everything is defended, right? Not exactly. All we got to do is threaten another checkmate, another mating threat. Well, if the rook moves, the rook that can attack our queen, and the queen can't go to f7 still, but then knight to f6 smacks that king right on top of the head. This is called smothered checkmate. The knight is smothering the king, and the king has no other squares to go to. You cannot stop this stinking horse from jumping straight up in the air and landing on this king's face. And you already know what I've said about the endgame before. It's beautiful. Perfection is found in the endgame. And Table Bases knows that there's perfection in the endgame. It's either a win, lose, or draw. If you can look at everything and really understand the position, get under it. So here, materially, we are down a pawn. Positionally, our king is attacking. Our pawn is very far advanced. Even our rook is fantastic. First, we're going to check the king because in our list of checks and captures, we do notice this check. Do we have any other checks? No. Do we have a capture? We do. We can equalize the material right here. So this is where chess can get a little confusing. This check is actually more valuable. And then after the check, because he only has one place to go, we are going to make a threat. The threat of rook c3 is actually rook to c8 with a mate. Black can do just about anything he likes. He could push this pawn. He could push this pawn. He could push this pawn. He could push this pawn, but he may not move his king, and he may not guard this square with anything. So all he really can do is give us the rook. He can give it to us over here. We'll take it, and now we're going to mate him anyway. But any other way out? Nope. Goes here, takes. Well, you can keep playing, but that's it. Whew, you made it. We're at the last puzzle of the day. I'm sure you could get this one. We're going to count the material. We've got 2-4 pawns versus 2-4-5. Black is up a pawn. We've got bishops of opposite colors. Our bishop's on pre. It's under attack. Oh no, we're definitely the underdog here, yeah? No, our king's safe. Their king is actually exposed. We're going to do the rest of the tools. We're going to look for checks, captures, and threats. Well, if I look for checks, I've got one here, but bishop takes me. If I go to the back, that's nice. That's a clear check. If I go here, king takes me. Do I have any other checks? Well, I actually have rook takes, but then rook takes me. So let's look for threats. Well, as for threats, it's just a threatening position. Look at these rooks. They're all over the place. Look at the bishop. I'd rather not take time to move my bishop. I like him right where he is at the moment. Maybe the threat is leave my bishop here on c4. So I'll start with this check and at least calculate it down to the end. If I go check, the king's going to have to move. Now, can I take this pawn? No, it's guarded. Can I make another queen move? Probably not. None that are very good. So I have to look at other pieces. My bishop again can't really help so much, but does he or doesn't he? He's helping right here. I could play this move and I could have a slight advantage and continue grinding for the rest of the game. But the point is I'm going to have to move this bishop someday, and I'm missing a fantastic tactical opportunity. So again, we want to be brilliant with our moves. We can stop right here and kind of collect our thoughts and do the whole process again. Check the material, look for checks, look for captures, look for threats, and hopefully you spot rook to e4. This move is too good. If he comes back, the queen and the rook now have a line to the e8 square, crushing. Also, we're still threatening to go rook to f7, smashing. And the king just pops out. It's free stuff for us. Amazing. You actually made it to the end with me. What's your score? How'd you do? Drop it in the comments and let me know. So there it is, day 11 in the books. If you love tactics, gently tap the like button, the thumbs up. Give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a day with notifications on so you hear about it. And check out the shorts feed. We're going to be posting shorts twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. Go ahead and go back to day 9 for a review of tactics that were very similar to today. And as usual, I want to give you the opportunity to hook up with me as an international expert and a coach. I can teach you how to play chess, how to get stronger. All you got to do is go over to Chess Coaching, click Hire Now. And then I would suggest connecting to the Discord so that all of us as a community will be able to post and share together. If you just have a simple question about the chess coaching or you want to connect by email, you can send me a message from the website here. So what was that? Well, that was vryBot.com. If you want to support this channel, you could give it a thumbs up or drop a subscription, throw some comments down below, or feel free to support us financially at Streamlabs/vryBot. So what puzzle was the craziest for you today? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!